building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Giant Builders, welcome. It's Tuesday at 2, and today I have Juliette Stapleton, in which case she is a marketing expert. So if you have any friends or family who have a business and would like some marketing tips, please share this with them. I'm sure that this will be great information for them to grow their business. So hi, Juliette, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Well, let's start out. Okay, why do most business owners not like marketing?
That's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah,
we start the business and we love working with clients, or we love the part that we love in our businesses. But when it comes to marketing, it feels so heavy because it never ends. It never ends. And we always want to say, can somebody do it for me? I can just show up and, do my thing. And somebody else is marketing. With me and my personal experience, I tried. I do everything through my own experience. So I've tried so much of outsourcing, trying to, get other people to do it for me. And there's one thing that I've learned is that your business is you. And whether you have a brick and mortar business where you're meeting clients, clients come to you because of you. Because if they don't like you, they're not going to come into your business. And it's very big mindset to have that clients come to you for you. So you can empower yourself by just knowing it, to be showing up as the face of their business. Because I know that myself, if I like somebody in the business, say a coffee shop, I love going to coffee shops, and there is a really nice owner or a manager and we chit chat and there's great relationships, I'll be going there like obsessed with that coffee shop for a while anyway, for a season anyway. So I'm bringing business back and back. Not because they have the best coffee, maybe not because it's the best, most comfortable place, but because of the human interaction, because people work with people. And it's really, really important. So hiding behind your business front is it's a losing game in a way, because you could do so much better if only you show up as the face of your business. And so I'm a marketing expert, but my specialty, because marketing is such a big thing, my specialty is online visibility as a personal brand, as who you are, being in front of your business and building the relationships that you have, whether not every business has offline premises. Like my business doesn't have offline premises. I'm purely online with the global reach. But even if you do have offline premises, you're basically continuing relationships that you're building there with your clients online and exposing and reaching more people like that can maybe find you online and like you there, and then want to have more of you in their lives, and therefore coming and visiting your business or doing business with you or buying from you. And it's such a brilliant way. But of course, online world is very scary at first because we feel very exposed. We don't know what to do. Unfortunately, online marketing industry is full of too much information, too much. And it's not always the right information, simply because we're not cookie cut made. People are all different, very unique. We come with unique gifts. We have different personalities. And there is no way that one strategy, even if it works perfectly for somebody, can work in the same perfect way for you, no matter what you do, no matter if you give it, 100%, it still might not work. So I am in this game for 22 years of building visibility for brands, for businesses. But I always wondered, why? Why am I working with somebody? They're doing what I tell them to do. When we're strategizing, I guide them and I see what could work for them. They go and do it and they soar, and their businesses soar. And I try and go and do the same thing and nothing happens. All I get is pushback. All I get is rejection. All I get is feeling more bitter. So why is that? And that was so fascinating to me. And I was always looking for, the reason. So I was always obsessed with personality tests, for example, because I want to know more. I want to know, why am I the way I am? Why is my client the way they are? Why do I love working with this client and absolutely hate working with this client? What's happening behind the scenes, behind the obvious? And of course, it is about our personalities and our interactions. And so a couple of years ago, I came across a tool that I now use so successfully in my business, in the business of my clients, to guide exactly how to align the business and with who you are. So you don't have to feel like you are swimming upstream and getting all this resistance, and it's hard, but you can feel more in the flow. So you still can put a lot of effort, and it still requires discipline and still requires commitment to make it happen, but you feel more in the flow with it. You learn to trust yourself. And I really think that this is the answer why most business owners hate marketing, is because they're not learning to trust themselves. They're just looking for the outside advice without being empowered to actually do something that maybe is very different and maybe doesn't make any sense in terms of logical sense, but it works for them. And I think that this is what's really important. That's my big message. So the tool that I found, and I know I mentioned it, but the tool that I found is human design. Human design, it's a little woo-woo concept, right? So it has roots in astrology and Chinese I Ching and Kabbalah, and it has very, very ancient roots, but it's only a new concept relatively. It came to be in the late 80s. And it's like a personality profiling system, but it's all about energetics. So it's all about our aura, how we interact with each other based on our aura, and how we feel each other, how we perceive each other. And for me, that whole system gives such a practical application. I now know, for example, why I talk about myself a lot. I now know that it's okay for me to talk about myself, because this is also my goal, to share my personal insights, because it's part of my personality. This is the kind of information that human design can give us. And so this is what I'm bringing into the marketing.
How can a business owner create visibility that feels easy?
Well, that's a great question, because, when you start getting to know yourself, then you can start finding ways that are also feeling not forced, and they feel more natural. As I mentioned, some of those things, they could be completely illogical. Like, we're taught like you have to talk about the clients and the pain points. And yes, it's all true and it's all there. But how you present the information can actually be part of your personality and how people perceive you, and also how you see yourself and what motivates you. So let's talk about me, right? So as an example,
Because you enjoy it.
Yes. So there is basically what actually, before I start talking about myself, I'll just step a little bit back and just give you like a very quick breakdown about this human design, so you understand a little bit how we approach it. In human design, the whole population is divided by four types of energetic types. So how our personality feels to another person. So about 70% are what they call generators, or there's a subsection manifesting generators. And their aura it's like a hug. It's enveloping. It's a group vibe. You feel included with these people. That's a majority of the world, right? And so when they're doing something, it's doing something together. It's co-creating. They're here to create. They carry this life force, and together they can build things. They're kind of builders in a way, although there's no better design and worse. I'm going to say it straight away, right? But this is their purpose. So in their businesses, they can focus on collaborations. They can focus on creating something together, for example, because generators are very good at processes, for example, like step-by-step processes. And we see that in marketing. We'll see people saying, this is exactly how you do this. Well, that's a very generator approach, because they've mastered one process and now they can teach that, and they know it and it works for them. Maybe it's not going to work for me necessarily, but it might work for another generator. So it's really, really interesting. Then we have 20% of people who are projectors, and projectors are here not to build and not to do per se, but they have a vision. They have an aura that is penetrating, and it's like a laser scan. It just scans the other person, and we see deep into the other. We don't see into ourselves. I am a projector. But we make very good guides. We strategize very well because we see the systems. We can talk to somebody and kind of sample them and see what can be tweaked so they can achieve whatever they want to achieve, or so we make great coaches. Now everybody makes good coaches, every coach has their own contribution, but we make good guides, we make good managers of systems, right? Organizers. That's the kind of goal for us. If we try to work hard as in physically and expending energy, we don't have that energy. These people, we don't have access to that energy that generators have, right? So we need to find a little different way of approaching our business, not working ourselves like horses, but instead honoring the lack of energy and working in bursts and resting and actually taking time off. I felt guilty for a couple of years trying to take time off because I was so conditioned and used to thinking that you have to work hard. So you get up in the morning and you go to work, and then you work 9 to 5 and then you come back, or that's when you finish. You haven't worked enough today. But I never thought about the fact that there are patterns in my work that during certain times I feel more awake, I have the energy, I have this energetic creative zone that I can be in, and when I create my content or I do anything in my business in that zone, it's like opens a flow portal where everything starts. First of all, I get to do loads of things in bursts and much more than if I was forcing myself, and then I can just rest. I can work 2 hours and do more than somebody would probably spend 20 hours on because of this capacity and how you work. But then I need to recharge. If I do an interview and I meet another person, we are now interacting with our auras, and it depends on your aura as well, how it's going to affect me, but I will need to recharge. So I won't be able to switch off and then go and do something. I will need to be a veg for a little bit to recharge my energy. So this is the projectors. And we have then again another, we call it non-sacral, non-energy type, which is manifestors. And manifestors only 9%. They're very, very interesting people because they're here to ignite the rest. They're also here not to work, not to do the work, not to complete, not to finish things. They're here to just say something with their voices, and that ignites. It ignites other people. How amazing. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm speaking about it because it's so brilliant. I have some manifestor friends and clients, and I know if I'm in a kind of slump and I don't have the energy and I don't know, I feel stuck, all I need is to go and listen to a manifestor. I either talk to a client that I have, maybe some voice notes, or I watch a YouTube video. I know this person is a manifestor, and I feel energy, and I go and get everything done. Then I'll vitch. This is so interesting. We can tap into each other for these things, tap into a projector for guidance, tap into a generator for a process to help you do things together, tap into a manifestor when you need to be ignited. And then we have also 1% of people who are reflectors. And these people are so open to other people's energies. They're kind of reflecting the world. They're sampling the world. They're very, very interesting, very rare types, and all very different because they do not have. So in human design, we all have frequencies that we're broadcasting. These types are based on what we have in our body's defined frequencies, so the frequencies that are constant. And this is like a song we sing, and maybe it has to do with emotions or intuition or expressing yourself or ideas. But we have this kind of song we're singing, or we have these centers, the same centers open, where we're sampling others. So there are a lot of people with an open head center, for example, they're just sampling other people's inspirations and ideas. So you can be in my presence and I have a defined head, like, I am broadcasting my ideas. My head is always buzzing. There's stuff coming out of it. But there's people who can quieten their head, not me. And they can quiet. So when we talk about meditation, they say quieten your heads, and you're like, you have an open head and I cannot. Give me a visualization or something that I can follow in my mind, imagination, but I can't stop. This is how I'm designed. And so, but energetically, then a person with an open head would also be constantly picking up on other people's ideas and thoughts and even questions. And we're kind of sampling. So what happens sometimes is that we might sample somebody's energy and we don't know it's not ours. And we hold on to it. And we start getting really stuck because we've collected so much inspiration from someone else. It's nothing to do with us. It is not our, not our inspiration, not our ideas. These are not our beliefs, but we're, holding on to them and making our life harder. We believe that we need to do things this way, and that's the only way, or we need to push, but all we have to do is, let's say, relax. These are the things and the answers that you can find through, for example, human design. It's very easy to find out your type. There are several links. In fact, I'm going to give a link to a little mini course, and it's all about aligned visibility by human design, but there's also a link to generate your chart. All you need to generate your chart is your birth time, birthplace, and birth date, time, and place. So, it's like it's based in astrology. It's all based on the day when you're born. And the idea there is that when you're born, at that moment, you're getting this imprint that comes from the sun, other planets. And so this imprint becomes your consistent energies and becomes your design. But you have other openness. So we have all the energies, but some of them are just inconsistent. So maybe when the planetary changes happen every day, there's transits, some things can be activated temporarily and we can tap into them. But that's all like ninja level. We don't need the ninja level. And this is what I love about it, that you can, even if you just learn about your aura and how people perceive you, and then your personality, we call it a profile in human design. Like what I was saying, for example, I'm very self-absorbed. You learn about this and you learn to take this, what feels like a disadvantage, and use it to your advantage. Use it to deliver a message in a particular way that's very natural to you. Even in the beginning, you might feel shy. You might feel like, oh, how can I talk about myself? Or how can I be a role model? I'm just an ordinary person. Or how can I be a leader? I don't feel like I'm a leader. But actually you are, because it's deep down. It's about self-recognition and it's about self-empowerment. And you can step into that role and you will feel so natural in it. Your voice becomes magnetic in it. And I know that we wanted to talk about the magnetic brand, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But things become slightly easy because you're actually becoming more confident in the way you're showing up. Does it make sense?
It does. So does your human design reflect the type of marketing you should do or how you do the marketing?
Human design, I think it's more about how you approach marketing. Okay. And also it can give you an indication which marketing channels could be really good for you. For example, if you're a manifestor and you are here to ignite, obviously doing podcasts, creating your own podcast, recording your voice, everywhere where you can express yourself through your voice, it doesn't matter that you don't think it's groundbreaking. Just by talking, you're igniting others into action. How amazing is that? So own that and use that as a channel. So then you can write. It's absolutely fine. I know that, a lot of manifestors write, but when you speak, magic happens. So this is something just to kind of know about yourself and then use that more. I'm a projector. I don't have much energy to show up every day. So I use a lot of automation in my marketing. I use blogging, and I really, especially since I'm niched down into human design, I really try and write optimized blog posts so I can be discoverable. And then I have a platform, Facebook, where I'm a Facebook expert anyway on organic marketing. And Facebook has always been my center stage, my personal profile, actually, not my business page that nobody sees, but my personal profile, because I can send people friend requests, connect to people, block people. I can be more in control. It's like virtual Juliette. And so that's where the relationships are built, but people can find me from the, on the outside of that. So I know that I don't have energy of showing up every day. I know that if I wrote something in a really energetic, zone, that's a good piece of content. So I would use automation to, send me reminders. Maybe I can repost it 6 months later, a year later, the same stuff that I already created before. So I use a lot of repurposing, and that helps me manage my energy. That actually helps any sign, I think, manage their energy. But the key that we have to find our flow, and we have to find our how we get into the zone. And for that, you need to understand your energy levels. You need to understand when do you need to stop. And a lot of us don't stop. We stop when we're at 200%. We stop when we're way past the point where we should have stopped and taken a rest. Because we are conditioned, because we're saying you have to work hard, but it's not working hard and being dedicated to what you're doing and then managing the way your body needs to rest plus, express itself. It's two different things. So did I answer your question?
Yes, I did. Yes, that did. Tell me, what makes our brand magnetic?
Well, I think that learning about your personal energies. So one thing is your aura, how people perceive you, but the other thing is kind of your personality. In human design, also depending, obviously, when you were born, everybody has what we call a profile. Profile is represented by 2 numbers. There's 6 lines. It's like a hexagram in Chinese I Ching, if you know about Chinese hexagrams. So 6 lines, right? The first one at the bottom is foundations, and the last one on the top is like the big vision, and everything in between. Every line has its own karmic purpose here, right? So for example, my profile is 1-3. 1 is all about research. So I would be someone who is driven by finding out or getting the grasp of things, and I would do a lot of research. People with line 1 in their profile, Google is their middle name. They're so good at finding the essence of the information. It's not that they're the best at studying, but they're good at seeing, the essence. And through that research, what they do is they find the essence, and that's their goal now to share with the rest. That's now they know this is the solid foundation. I can let you, the rest, know that this is solid, right? You can use that. Or they can say, no, hang on a second, there are cracks. It's like an inspector for, on a building site, right? And you're like, no, there are cracks. This is BS. Guys, redo. This is not working. So I'm really good. And I see that myself, even in my industry. I'm so good at, I have like inbuilt barometer on when I hear something and I'm like, this is fluff. None of this matters for your progress, right? So how can we separate? And this comes from this ability of this line 1 to see, the essence. Line 2 are absolute naturals, and they're here to do their thing. They're not here to wave their flag or, consciously go and find people and share with them. They're here to do their thing, but they need to make sure that it's seen. It's like a dancer dancing, beautiful dance. They're not coming up to the audience trying to pull them into the dance. They're caught up in their dance and, in their heads. And it's beautiful because they're so fully consumed by what they're doing. And we look at them and we want more. We look at them and can say, that was beautiful. Can you do this again? Or can you come? And so if you have a line 2 in your profile in human design, you can demonstrate what you're doing in your marketing, can do behind the scenes. You can, chefs cooking, coaches, for example, doing like hot seat coaching, demonstrate what you're doing so others can call you out. Others can come in and say, hi, I think you're brilliant. I want you. So this is interesting. Then it gives you ideas on how you can show up and become magnetic in the right way. And you will enjoy it because if you have a line 2, you don't want to hang out with other people. You're a hermit. You want to be doing your thing. So it will feel so much easier. Then, for example, if you have to do like cold outreach or something like that, it just feels yucky. If you have a line 3, you're here to test. Line 3 bumps into life. They are the ones that say you have to work hard to achieve something because they always find, like they have to test so many things before they find what's working. They will be making mistakes. They're born to make mistakes. And it's great because we need people like that because they're pathfinders. The pathfinders, say on Mars, this little machine, and it's going and bumping into different stones and maybe sometimes even goes on the side. But then it finds its way horizontal to go and explore again. That's line 3. So how can you do it in your marketing? You can share about what's not working. Be self-proclaimed expert on what you experienced that's not working. But here's the secret. Because you're so resilient, because after your mistakes, you're shaking it off and trying again and again and again, you probably have the most chances to have a very big breakthrough because you don't give up. You know the story, somebody was doing something in their garage for 10 years and then they created this or, invented this and made a lot of money. But think about how long it is, 10 years. I am babysitting a dog now for a month. It feels like forever. 10 years is mental. So that's a lot of failing. That's a lot of things not working out, and this is exactly what line 3 is. When you know that this is what you have in your personality, you can stop feeling victimized by all these little failures or shaming yourself or trying to have like low tolerance to others' mistakes. So the attention is not on you. There's a lot of like underlying themes with our personality when, like let's say in this case. So you can embrace this and you can share your stories. It's so relatable. You become magnetic because people say, well, this person always trying something, always doing something. And they admire people who fail and then they, shake it off and go. I pivot in my business. I also have line 3 in my profile. I pivot in my business so often. I have. And I know my clients who've been with me for years would say, you know what I love about you? You're like, okay, that didn't work. I know I said it worked, but it doesn't work now. So I'm going to do new direction. She says, you inspire me, because sometimes I feel like, oh my God, this is it. This is the end of the world for me. But it isn't, right? Line 4, all about connection. For line 4, it's all about networking. The creator of human design likened line 4 with that kind of slightly annoying relative that you have, that you never can get rid of. They will always call you up. You don't want to talk to them, but they will call you up and they will just be there, and it's like a relative. So you can't really completely block them. You're still going to have them somehow in your life. But I know it's not a very good example if you have a line 4, but the point is that you have this staying power, and it's up to you to network with people and to connect to people and to be in people's worlds. And through your network, and the quality of network for line 4 is so important, through that networking, you will see opportunities coming in. You will see your influence, and influence on your life will happen through your network. So if you're line 4, you will focus on networking. You will focus on looking for the, let's say, word of mouth, referrals, all that kind of networking or marketing that can bring opportunities through your network, because you're actually not that great at selling to strangers. So the marketing strategies that are aimed at selling to strangers are not going to work for you. Strangers don't see you the same way as your network. And then it actually can be unhealthy for you to bring strangers into your network because you don't know the quality of those people. So that's so interesting, completely different approach to how you can run your business. And you will enjoy it, because by nature, you will enjoy connecting to people. And for you, karmically, it's all about your connection to other people. That's what you're here to, in a way, learn in this lifetime. So you can use that in your business too. We have 2 more lines. So line 5 is the most influential line in a way, but unfortunately, they live in projections. That means that they're very good at solutions, and they're good at fixing things. They really see, it's in a higher line, they see the mess underneath, and they see straight away what can be done. They're brilliant at fixing. They have real magnetic, seductive leadership energy. People meet them, and straight away they say, my God, you can save me. I know you are the person for me. But the problem with that this is a projection. It's a person seeing something in another that they want or assume is going to happen. Like they just see line 5 person as a savior, but line 5 might not be like what they assume. And if they don't meet their expectations, the projection flips and they become a villain. Line 5 is called heretic, and it can happen just like that. By the way, the biggest leaders in the world were 5-1s. The Queen of England that just passed 5-1, Princess Diana 5-1, Stalin, Putin, Hitler 5-1s. Because, and see how people either love them or hate them. There's this projection field. There's nothing wrong with living in a projection field, but if you know that it's not you. It's not you, that some people who know you very well and maybe they have disappointment about you, but you never promised them anything, and now all of a sudden they switched and feel bad about, like, I don't know, projecting something at you, and you don't even know why. Now you know why. Now you can think, okay, so I need to have healthier boundaries. In my business, I need to assume this position of a leader. I teach, I give solutions, but then I step back. I don't take over fixing things. I give a solution, I step back. So they have responsibility. They don't see me as a savior. Sometimes if you tell line 5 that they're a savior too often, they can believe that. Look at Putin. They can think that they're a savior, right? So that's what happens. And then we have the line 6. And line 6 is on the roof of this house that we built with all these people. And they're visionaries. So they also see everything that's happening, but they're not focused on practical solutions. They're focused on what's beyond. And it's a really, really interesting line, and we can go very, very deep into this. But they're the teachers, like elders, that like tribes elders. That's what line 6 is. And that is the wisdom sharing angle that you can take. And I see people who are in their early 20s and they're sharing some wisdom. There's some human design coaches who are, very, very young, and they have a 6-line personality. And it's amazing how they see what they see. And they're here to share that wisdom with us. So if you have a line 6 in your profile, you have line 6, you can just completely empower yourself to share your wisdom. Don't hold back. This is what you're here for. That's what makes your brand magnetic. So I hope that I answered your question. You can, with this system, you can actually take any kind of marketing strategy. First of all, assess energetically, is it for you, this model, or not? You can very, very easily walk away from models that will exhaust you. You already will know why. You already know how. And then when you're creating content, you also know what angle to take that will feel really, really good. I was embarrassed before that I talk about myself a lot. Now I love it, because I know this is my karmic purpose to, through my examples and my stories, demonstrate, a point and give you the essence. And I hope that in this podcast, I gave you the essence of how to use human design for your marketing.
Very much. So I have a quick question. So the lines, do people sometimes change lines with age or experience, or that's pretty much their personality?
No, this is like personality. It's like a nose. Yeah, I wanted to say it's like a nose, and then I thought, no, we have plastic surgery. No. So these are set qualities. What can happen is it's a huge part of of human design. It's a concept of conditioning. It's where we have beliefs that don't belong to us, or we feel like a victim. We don't actually understand this energy, and we don't empower ourselves to really embrace what it is. Because if you have a certain line, say you are that poor line 5, I say poor, but it's not poor, it's really, really beautiful. I have so many people in my world with line 5, but that people perceive you a certain way, right? They don't see you for who you are. You will know that, and that takes you relief the pressure to think that this is something wrong with you, right? So you can't change who you are, but you can find the beauty in who you are. And that's what, as well, I think is very empowering. I do a lot of reports, marketing by human design reports for people. So strangers order reports, and I only see their chart. And I will create this, and I explain all these energetics, and they will say to me, I have never felt so seen or heard like this, because it really speaks into what the potential you have, and it's up to you whether you're going to step into that potential or not.
What would it look like to work with you? I mean, what would be the steps if somebody wanted to work with you?
The best place to start is, I have a free little mini course. It's 2 45 minutes videos, and it's called Human Design for Aligned Visibility. There's going to be a link with this podcast. So just maybe start with this, and I will go deeper into each type energies and also into each line. And I will give some ideas and the angles, what you can take in creating content. And you can start from there. There's, of course, this marketing blueprint by design that I just mentioned, the report. If you feel drawn after the free training, please, you're free to order. But this is the way to start, and then you will see how we are, because I believe we are not for everyone. That's what I believe. We're not for everyone, and not everyone is for us. And it's so important that we're only connecting to people that we're truly drawn to. So that's the way to do it.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts?
I think that trusting your journey is really important. Things don't happen overnight. Things don't happen in 90 days. We need to be more realistic when we are marketing our business. We need to trust ourselves, trust the fact that things might not work out, and you are just figuring out your own way. Somebody out there might point you to the right direction, but they will never give you a step-by-step exactly what to do for you to be successful. And so instead of trying to look out for something to save you in a way, look within. Because it's all there. It's just up to you to discover it.
Oh, that was wonderful. Well, thank you so much. You gave us a ton to really think about. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, all right, Giant Builders, thank you. We'll see you next Tuesday at 2.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.